Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lorebound Legends, a podcast where my lovely co-host Kailyn and I learn all about lore of just general things. We're going over magic stories again, coming at you with another magic story, and this one's going to be rough to get through in advance. Before we even get into some of that stuff, like, share, subscribe. It really helps us out to to get more people listening. And sorry for our sporadic episode. We've got some life stuff going on, so we'll tell you a little bit about it. But before any of it happens, before any of the magic, Kailyn, how are you?
Look how still I'm sitting. I have a fidget toy now, a very quiet one. I found a nut and a bolt. This is how I'm doing. Maybe I'll sit still and maybe I won't make things clang in this episode. But besides that, doing okay. We've been pretty busy the past couple weekends, so
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. So yeah.
Yeah, we were, so normally we like to do an episode every second week, comes out on Wednesdays. Then we got really sick. We missed some episodes. Then again, we haven't forgot about everyone. I promise you're first in our minds. But we were, last weekend when we would have been recording, we were out of town because we were looking at a few businesses to buy.
And then before that, we were doing a 60th anniversary party for my grandparents.
But that one wasn't a recording day.
That is,
yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
This one, yeah. So we just had those buildings we were only able to kind of get into on that one day. So we were out of town on quite the long day, to be honest. It was
long day.
Yeah, it was a lot. We've been looking at just a few buildings to buy. I know we're really, really fancy stuff.
Yes.
Lots of lore. But yeah, so we actually found one which was pretty cool. It was a theater that we were looking
awesome.
at possibly buying, and I think that would make such cool episode spaces for it. So, but
I'm also biased. I worked at a movie theater for 4 years, so it would have been awesome. But
yeah, but no. So that's what it was. So our episode's coming a little bit later than normal. We are going to be back to doing it every second Wednesday. I promise, no more missing. Wink, 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 wink for the YouTube people. But no, it will be
giving Daniel a glare.
It will be, like I said, it will be there. We've just been so sporadically busy with just kind of some of the organizing stuff, but that is what it is. Now that we have that out of the way, yeah. Other than that, just been living life, working lots. I've been really, really tired for my job. I drive, and I haven't had, like, my truck has been in the shop for 3 weeks now, so I haven't been able to sleep at all while I'm driving. So I don't sleep while I'm driving. You guys understand. But when I get to sites and stuff, so I'm doing these big 16, 17 hour days with no nap or my head craned beside the window trying to do it. So I've just been exhausted, delirious beyond myself.
Yeah, it's been quite the time. I was going to ask how you were because kind of our weeks have gone together, but it sounds like what you've shared is.
Yeah, you get it. I've been tired. Been working. Doing an event again. It's just nonstop back to back. So we're at a magic event next weekend. Probably a great spot to advertise the podcast. Didn't even think about that, but I'll also do that.
Yeah.
Maybe make a little QR code that says come check it out. But again, you guys have you've heard enough of my spiel of my day. Oh, and Kailyn also had weddings in between and made big crochet projects.
Oh, that's true. I have to show my cheetah. Can I show my cheetah?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
I can't see why you couldn't.
Because
yeah, Kailyn likes to crochets a lot. If you can't tell by her little sprout on her headphones, she just she likes a little project every now and then. So
I was struggling to email something to myself today, so I tried to delete things, and it's just thrown everything that I had on my phone away. So give me 1 second here. I asked my friend. I couldn't access their registry, and then I kind of gave up. I didn't care. I was like, I already know what I want to do. So, which maybe that's kind of selfish of me. If someone is like, these are gifts we want, and I'm like, nah, screw your gifts. I'm gonna make you one. But I
noticed you didn't have the gift I want to make you.
Yeah, I noticed that this wasn't on your registry. So I made them. I asked them what their favorite animals were, and the guy she was marrying likes golden retrievers. So I made a little golden retriever. I don't know if that can be seen. Oh, look at that little guy. Adorable. Tooting my own horn by saying that. But then I've made this cheetah for her because that's her favorite. And she told me, oh, I love cheetahs. And I was kind of like, why do you hate me? Why? Anyway, it took me a week. Sorry. That's the back of the cheetah. I sewed all the spots on. And it took a week, and I finished at 2 a.m. the day of the wedding. So Yeah. And then I kept taking their gift out. I kept opening it to show my friends to be like, look what I made. Then I have to pack it back up. And so people just like, and there was like all windows. So people could see me opening the gift at their gift station. So I just look like I'm unpacking their gifts. Like, what did they get? So
You're just having a quick look, see what's going on.
yeah, just, I like gifts. I like to see what people are getting.
Kailyn is very excitable about crochet projects. And
I like to crochet.
yeah, it's
I keep making gifts.
It's a really, I have to share a fun story. So we were at, we went and we bought for like when we do our videos with the other magic stuff, we went and bought new lighting and stuff, right? So we went to get like a nice new, like a nice new lighting setup. And then we got one of the streamers for when Kailyn streams video games.
Heck
So
yeah.
the streamer X's and stuff. And we were talking, I was having a great conversation with the person at the store and just talking microphones and everything, like just like dynamic ranges, just dork things about.
He's talking about like special things about mics, and the other guy's talking about like, oh, like lighting setups and cameras and blah, blah, blah. And it was all just like jargon I don't get.
Yeah, so I'm having just a wonderful conversation, and Kaylyn's like, "Oh yeah, he's the recording guy. He doesn't. This isn't really my world." And the guy just totally turns to her like a normal person in a conversation and says,
"Oh, that's okay." He didn't.
She's like, "This isn't my world." And he turns to Kailyn and says, "What is your world?" And it like stunned her. It stunned her brain. She went, "Yarn." There was a pause. I know that a lot of pauses get like, for the audio listeners, you won't hear that, but like there was quite a pause, and then she just said yarn, and he said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and then like I feel like I have a tendency to think that things I say are like incredibly embarrassing and I should stop talking. No, don't nod. Anyway, so I was like, oh gosh, like, and then I was trying to get Daniel after to be like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I was like, that wasn't that bad, right? And he was like, no, it was bad.
I was like,
so
it's bad. You should think about it for the rest of the week. He's not going to forget it. He's going to come home, tell his wife or girlfriend, like, what was that about?
Yeah,
that was
what
so
the heck?
weird.
That was weird. What's wrong with that kid?
Just
She got autism.
yarn. Yeah.
She got yarntism.
Yes. Kailyn lives the yarn dreams. But anyways, so we are into the
Song of Time.
the eighth book, and it's not good. I'm just gonna preface that.
I was trying to make a pun of Song of Time, but
Yeah, it's not. It's something more like Song of Savior Time. Am I right?
oh,
But
got him.
yeah, so it's the eighth magic novel by Harper Prism in June 1996. It's by Terry McLean again, aka Terry Williams, same author that wrote Cursed Land. And
I can't remember Cursed Land.
Cursed Land is the one where falls out of the tree, sets him on fire. They just had to do a springtime ritual and get along.
That one was fun.
The sword that killed everyone.
No, it wasn't great, but it wasn't.
It had nothing to do with magic.
Yeah. And
This is supposed to be magic lore. This is
this isn't just a magic lore podcast. So it's just lore of a different place that we don't know.
Yeah, some of the problems with these older stories is obviously they're not canon, as you'll see with the beginning of the blurb for this, let me tell you. But like they're not canon, and on top of that, there's nothing to them. They're so small. They didn't have like a big world to build on, like in any of the current magic story, right? It has like tons of established like characters, events, like things to reference so you know a timeline. It's got like established powers, established like casts and stuff, right? Whereas these are just kind of like books that were set apart with like a magical fantasy theme rather than Magic the Gathering theme.
Is the like what came first? Like did the books inspire magic, or magic was already a thing? And then as they developed more characters, the books were able to have more like
magic
substance.
was already a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, now we have all of these characters, and this is kind of their backstory. And then you could be like, I'm going to write a story about Garth or whatever.
Well, yeah, they eventually went to a block setting, which is what I think they should go back to, just as like a quick. We got time with there's no story here, but they went to a block setting, which meant that they did multiple sets that followed one kind of set of characters and story arc and stuff.
And how long would they continue that on? Just in kind of till they wanted to, or would they be like, oh, for a year we're gonna do this?
Yeah. So usually the blocks were like they'd be like, here's like a block about Ice Age, and this is what's going on in the story, and here's like there's main characters and events, and it's like the telling of a story over multiple sets. And because it was over multiple sets, they could flesh it out. There was like a big plane. They could like make cards based on it, and then the cards kind of have always followed a bit of a story, especially from like an art direction, right? Or like from a storytelling perspective, like in the new Phyrexia one, like what you don't know much of the new Phyrexia stuff, but spoiler for many people way later on, Karn ends up unmaking Elish Norn, which is like a pretty like heavy metal part of the story, right? And there's like card arts that like depict it, and then the flavor text of the cards is like part of the story. So it kind of is like a way to keep players interested. And then they just kind of recently stopped doing block sets, which I personally think was a very, very bad choice. Like it just made now it's just kind of they're just kind of jumping around.
It seems like they're just trying to, like they're jumping around and like, I know, well, I guess Lord of the Rings set already came out like a year ago, but it feels like they just keep doing like sets to try to like bring people in. Like they just did, like they did Lord of the Rings and then they just did Fallout.
Those aren't like considered like main sets.
Okay.
Those
I
are,
got
yeah,
you.
those
So
are
there's,
like auxiliary sets, but the main sets are
They're
essentially
DLCs.
no different right now.
Yeah.
Because like right now, again, like I'll summarize what's going on in the main story quickly. The main story is planeswalkers have been kind of that's the go about, right? So generally speaking, you were looking at the people and races of a plane influenced by the planeswalkers who were visiting. You had like the Gatewash trying to protect places like
So many spoilers.
no. Again, these are all well-known things. Why is it so Zendikar? My brain was broken there. So like you have like multiple planeswalkers coming because there was an event going on there, right? And they're these like extremely powerful multi-dimensional beings and stuff. But then, kind of with the end of the Phyrexia story, right? Generally speaking, the only people who could like traverse planes were planeswalkers. You were kind of stuck where you are unless you were a planeswalker, right? And then
unless you
now
could walk the planes.
yeah, now the arc that we're on is called the Omen Paths, and they kind of Magic's been stuck in like a big like cyclical problem right now where it keeps going like, oh, like Eldrazi are the bad guys, and oh, it's the Phyrexians, and then like, oh, and they just keep kind of recycling the same three, like, oh, now it's Slivers, and there's, oh, it's a multiversal threat, and oh, and again, we're on Modern Horizons 3 release day, and there's more Titans. Wow, color me shocked.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah, right. Like it's just so that's
For
just
those listening, Daniel's actually rolling his eyes.
yeah. It's just kind
He
of
loves
like
it.
Well, and again, like Nicobolas, and then like Nicobolas is in prison right now, but they're like, oh, don't even worry. Well, again, I guarantee it's gonna like the next set will be like something with Eldrazi, followed by they have to let Nicobolas out to deal with the Eldrazi, and then quote this episode 8 months from now when that happens. But so with the Omen Paths
8
thing,
months from now when we post our next episode.
that's funny. With the Omen Pass thing, right? What they did from like a potential point is great because now like basically like this giant thing called the World Tree made it so that there's like these pathways that connect all of the planes and worlds together, and now normal people and characters of the planes can traverse these planes and like go interchangeably. And you would think that this would lead to like a ton of like really, really interesting like storytelling, like Call Time's a Viking plane, and like the Vikings are like known for raiding and stuff. So like it would make sense that like the Vikings would try like raid for resources on another plane, and then like there's like the pirate plane, like there's like lots of like pirates in places like Ixalan, and there's hunters like Garrick, for instance, is like a prime example of like an apex predator hunter who likes to go hunt big bad things.
Sheesh.
And there's places like Ikoria that are like full of these giant dinosaur mythical beasts. Like you would think that the people would like interact, and what they've done with the story so far is, what about Cowboy Realm? That was Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It was just and then the other thing is like, because they're trying to be so sensitive about everything right now, Thunder Junction, the Cowboy Realm, they're like, well, we can't do a cowboy set because that could be insensitive. So they're like, oh, it's a totally uninhabited world.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like an uninhabited plane that just has like buildings on it, and then like these like plant people who are like very happy to like help, and they like run but it's so because they're like, they didn't want to be like, oh, well, like, oh, someone's coming to colonize.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Cowboys and the Indians.
Yeah, well, that's exactly the trope they're trying to like avoid, right? So really, like, again, and it was just like people from every plane just and it like didn't make sense. And they're like, what if we had like the demon Lord Rakdos in a cowboy hat? And I'm like, who's that's a real thing. That's 1 second. I'll pull this up on the other screen here. Like, let me.
Okay, I have something to say, I guess, while you pull it up. Just you saying that there's like no, it's an uninhabited plane. First off, is incredibly annoying because how like it's just weird to throw other people in. But that just reminds me, there's like an ad for Fallout playing. I'm seeing this ad, and it's just reminding me I was super excited at the beginning for Fallout 76 because, oh my goodness, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah, this is for anyone watching on YouTube. Like you can see like all the spoilers. And again, the other problem is that there was like I won't go into big detail about it, but like there should have been pretty severe consequences at the wrap up of the last arc that we went through, the last major arc, and there's not. There's just not. It's just not a thing. And they're like, what if like everyone was fine? And then like it's a lot. Like it's a lot of, it's very poor writing and stuff. They're very clearly right now currently focused on the profit aspect.
I was gonna say it seems like they just want to make cards and they don't really care. They're just like, people like cowboy. You like cowboy?
Yeah,
I don't like
again,
cowboy,
continuity of things is just like pretty.
Next is robot. You like robot?
Yeah, and like again, like it's just right now they're just pumping stuff out. And again, like I said, the Modern Horizons 3 thing that they just did, it doesn't make any canonical sense. Like they just made like a new set of Eldrazi Titans, but most of the Eldrazi Titans are like dead and defeated. It's like a.
These ones were sleeping.
Is it like in the back? It's not good. That's the only way I can say it. But with that being said,
I finished my thing I was saying. Yeah. Okay, in Fallout 76, I was very excited because I really like Fallout 4. I think it's a lot of fun. I have to play the other ones. It's just I wanted to mod them so that they were better, but I might not be able to mod anymore because Bethesda does not like their modding community. They want you to pay for what they've done. Anyway, Bethesda's tactics aside. As more stuff came out about Fallout 76, you started to find out that it was going to be online, like multiplayer. I don't really like multiplayer. I get nervous that I'm going to like fail for the team. And also I just like to be alone and not have people talking to me while I'm just like having a good little time. But the biggest problem, and when I was like, I'm not getting this game, Daniel, is when they said that there was going to be no NPCs in the game.
It's weird.
That's the whole point of Fallout, is there's a bunch of weird NPCs and you get to talk to them and you're like, oh, haha, what a fun time. But they were like, no, like all your side quests you'll get like on computers. So like you can go and like you have to read the whole thing and then you go do the side quest and you come back to the computer, which is no fun. The whole point of the game is because there's so many quirky characters. So anyway, just thinking about this cowboy land with that's not inhabited is boring. That's it.
Yeah.
Boring.
So let's get into what's in the Song
best
of Time.
magic book.
So the cover of the book says the Armageddon clock is ticking and the Beast of Hours will be unleashed unless a young archaeologist can solve an ancient riddle.
This sounds so much like magic.
Yep. So again, we don't get much detail. Please take us away.
Is this the same character from our other book?
No.
Oh, okay. What was that character's name? I thought it was Shane. Cheyenne?
No.
Okay.
Take it away, please.
Anyway, the pieces to a vast, mysterious, and ancient puzzle come together to form the secret society known as the Circle. But is that Shane?
Yeah, we'll call it Shane.
Yeah. A young archaeologist becomes determined to solve the ancient riddle and find the Armageddon clock before the Beast of Hour awakes.
Yep, that's it.
Wow.
That's the summary. So Armageddon clock is a magic card.
Oh, this is actually a card, though. There you go.
Yeah, I'll pop it up here. So
let's go.
Yeah, it's a 6 mana card at the beginning of your upkeep. Put a doom counter on Armageddon clock. Beginning of your draw step, it deals damage equal to each player to the number of doom counters on it. And you can pay 4 to remove a doom counter from it. Any player can activate it, but only during any upkeep step. So, all right. Okay. Yeah.
Spooky clock.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so then we get into the plot.
I was about to say I've never seen this card before, but then I was like,
there's a reason. It's not good.
Oh, I was going to say I haven't seen many, many, many cards before. So
is it because you don't play Magic?
No.
Yeah. Okay, so we have it says it starts us off with the plot of the Brothers' War. So during Brothers War, Mishra leads an army of wizards against his brother Urza. First off,
Did Brothers War come out?
no. And that's not what happens. They don't lead an army of wizards at all, even a little bit. That's not even a little bit close to what does and doesn't happen.
But what if a little bit?
Nope. And then it
What
says,
as a treat?
Urza summons a cockatrice, which is, I'll go to the pop-up screen again. It says, was originally a green creature type that was only used once for the card Cockatrice in Alpha, which is a 5-mana 2/4 flying, and when it becomes blocked by a wall, you destroy the wall. Very powerful stuff.
I kind of hate this guy, but I also really want to like crochet him.
It's pretty not good.
Make a little scarf.
It says cockatrices are flying creatures that turn their enemies to stone, much like a basilisk. They have lithe, feathery, serpentine bodies with the head of a bird, 2 legs, 2 wings.
I like how they say head of a bird. Clearly chicken head.
Yeah.
Clearly chicken legs and clearly chicken wings.
In Magic, in Magic 2014, it finally returned as a black creature. Deathgate is cockatrice.
Now that one looks like an eagle and not a chicken.
Which is a flying Death Touch 2/2. Again, pretty rough stats. It was argued that though Death Touch
rough as in good?
No, terrible.
Oh.
It was argued that though, like right now they're making like 3 mana, like 5/5 flying trample Death Touchers.
Oh, true. I guess if you got into Magic like earlier, like before all these cards like coming out now, I feel like you have to keep updating your deck because like I can't play my like old deck that was OP now because everything else is like just way overpowered.
Yeah, a lot of power creep.
Anyway,
it says it's argued that though Death Touch suited both colors, green didn't get flying creatures anymore, making black the easiest fix with both Death Touch flying. During into Nyx also added another one which looks nothing like it, which is the Fleet Feather Cockatrice.
That one's a peacock.
Yeah, and it has flash. It's a 5-mana 3/3 flying Death Touch with monstrosity. Yeah, using blue to justify the flying. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it just says Cockatrice was once summoned by Jared Cartholian when he was inside Castle Melmereth. It was both killed and destroyed by a Clockwork Avian, and then another Cockatrice was once contained inside an Armageddon clock and powerful enough to cause the Armageddon. Destroy all lands. Yeah, so back to our Song of Time. We've got Urza and Mishra fighting with armies of wizards, which again is not the plot of Brothers War. Spoilers.
Army.
Yeah, spoilers. Mishra calls in his elite wizards, a group of song mages called the Circle. Again, not real. This is alternate reality stuff.
She's just making up her own canon.
Yeah.
Terry can't be stopped.
Yeah. They try to kill the cockatrice, but there's a traitor in their midst who screws up the ritual, so they can only capture it.
All right. Mishra is delighted, though, charging the head song mage, known as the Collector, with crafting a song that can release and control the creature. Okay. Knowing that I'm reading this, but none of this is canon?
No, none of this is at all.
Okay.
Urza and Mishra are definitely not. They don't have song bards that are containing flying beasts. That's
flying
not,
chickens.
That's not who they are.
Knowing that the release of the creature will mean Armageddon. Again, this thing looks like a chicken. Very scary chicken. The mage makes a song that will use the crystals in a magical valley.
Pause for 1 second. Armageddon.
I like it. I like it.
I just like your face.
I was trying to process it. I was like, what is the caw? I gotcha.
Yeah, okay, please.
Yeah. I like it. Now I'm trying to think of other ones. We could just go simple and go Wingageddon instead of Armageddon.
No,
Armageddon's
got
it. Okay, fine. The mage makes a song that will use the crystals in the magical valley called the Chimes to kill the creature upon its release. Why is everything starting with like a C? Like, I know that sounds weird, but it's Circle, Collector, Cockatrice,
Circle,
and Chimes. Yeah.
Cheyenne.
Oh, we're figuring it out. Anyway, that will kill the creature upon their release with a song from crystals. Anyway, but the traitor in the circle, but the traitor in the circle called the Raptor comes in and kills him before he can write all the instructions down correctly.
First off, I want to say personally, if I'm in a group of song mages and I'm just like, you got this one, Bartholomew. How about you,
Heck
Kailyn?
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, oh, Sherman and everything. And it's like, and you, the Raptor?
and you, Judas?
Yeah. Which one of us among you is the traitor?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think they all have names. Like one of them, the head song mage is the Collector. I think they all have like code names. But again, the Raptor?
I don't know. He betrays and can
Yeah.
open doors.
He can't open doors. His head's too big, and he goes.
Yeah. No, that's a T-Rex. Raptors can open doors. Yeah,
No.
they're so smart.
He's a threat. He's
Yeah.
the crow. Do crows come from raptors?
No, and I don't think crows can open doors either. What are you
No,
talking
I'm
about?
saying that crows are smart. You said they are smart. You said raptors are smart.
It's quite a jump there, but
Birds come from dinosaurs.
it's a lot. It's a lot with you.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson's side eye.
So the traitor in the circle, the raptor, comes in and kills him before he can write all the instructions down clearly. Where was he writing? Would Mishra not be there giving him the instructions in person?
Nah, he's just doing his own thing. He's the collector. He
Hey,
collects the
Hey,
info.
quickly remember these and write it down at your own
No,
leisure.
the collector does it himself. He collects his info and then he writes it down and then he collects it all. Then he gets murdered.
Yeah. So we have the last member of the circle, an archaeologist named Javin, and his adopted
Where's his
son,
code name? What the heck?
and his adopted son Shane.
I think it is Shane, but like it's
Shane?
Cheyne. That's
Yeah.
how like new like I don't know what to call them, like millennial moms name their kids. It's all got Lynn's and it's all got like 18 other letters you don't need.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they are excavating a site that they hope is the final resting place of the collector. They stumble on another corpse, which holds a totem with symbols on it similar to the totem Shane has. Why does Shane have it? Yeah, why does Shane have
Why you got this?
an ancient totem? Hey, where did you pick that up from? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go find the body of your friend. Unrelated.
It's like your brother telling
The
his
raptor
story
gave me it.
about stealing like a chapstick when he was young, and your dad gave him the disappointed look. Shane's like, "Oh, I found it." His dad just hitting him with that disappointment.
Yeah. They stumble on another corpse. Oh no, yeah, same part. This triggers Shane to go and find the truth about his birth parents.
What the heck? How? I guess the totem was given to him by his parents.
I don't know. While investigating in the local city of Sumifa, he befriends a down-on-his-luck song mage called Ogwater.
What a horrible name. These code names, the collector and the raptor, were cool.
So let's
Ogwater.
let's see if we can find what Sumifa is at least. It's the capital of the ancient nation Almaz on Terasari, Dominaria. It was ruled by Apasha. A city of the same name can be currently found on the Teresian Islands. So, Old Sumifa. During the Brothers' War, the song mages of Sumifa joined the war on the side of the Mishra. To avoid the ruination of their homeland, the mystical language chanted by the song mages was reputed to be able, among other feats, to calm and even control savage beasts.
I love you reading this stuff because I feel like I can like see your blood pressure and hear your blood pressure going up.
The song mages refused to answer the call of the third path, which is,
You know,
let me find
after
out.
the first and second.
Also known as the Third Way or the Union, was an alliance of magic users, historians, intellectuals, and artificers from across Terra on Dominaria that sought neutrality in the Brothers' War. Okay, fair. Okay. They refused to answer the call. However, Mishra's counselor Samor, the Collector, well, there we go.
Okay, they do have names. They're not just the collector.
Created a secret circle of mages himself.
Wait.
The purpose of the circle was to shield Sumifa and Almaz from the whims of Mishra.
What the heck?
Trying to protect the land from the worst effects of the Brothers' War until the circle could be strong enough to put an end to the conflict. However,
So he's like going behind his back.
there we
and
go.
doing actual
However,
thing?
Poros the raptor, the Sumifan royal heir, saw in the position of Samor an usurper of sorts and tried to wrestle control of the circle from him to unleash a powerful cockatrice against the brothers and take back the kingdom of Almaz from Mishra's influence by force. In the second half of the Brothers' War, after the confrontation between Samor and Poros, the latter destroyed the city, burying it under tons of desert sand. The population took cover near the Nessian caves in the following years. However, it spiraled into civil war, presumably between the member of the circle and the 90s, the followers of the Raptor.
I don't think it's 90s. Ninites.
Ninites? I don't know.
I think so. I think
90s
it's silly if
sounded
it's
better.
No, Ninites sounds funny. Ninnies.
Around 1300 AR, the city was rebuilt on its site as the new Sumifa. The existence of the old city was slowly forgotten until around 3000 AR, when an excavation with site would bring to light the ruins, and Kalas Nin was the god of time there.
All
So
right.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. That's what we get. So now back to Ogwater.
The end. Ogwater agrees to guide Shane to the chimes, where the local elves might be able to translate the symbols on the two totems. Okay, first they go and buy a map, though. With Claria, a descendant... This is... Okay, all of these stories where it has nothing to do with magic, they're just like, here's name, here's person, here's another name. It's like, it's just too many name. It's too much
and
name.
none of them are characters. None of them are on anything.
Yeah,
Javin's not someone. Claria, there's no Ogwater.
Yeah, they're just like, name for character. Bogwater, but get rid of that B. I'm brilliant. Brilliant.
True. Okay.
With Claria, a descendant of the Collector, they travel to the Chimes. They pass through an Orc kingdom, a Selkie kingdom, and an Ice monster kingdom. That'd be fun. All the while, they are followed by local... What the... Okay. All the while, they are followed by local mob boss Riola, who is working for the Raptor. How... I thought this was, like, farther in time. Like, I thought that, like, these people were dead by now. All right. Raptor's alive. And the Raptor's minions get their hands on the various artifacts of the circle that the heroes had found or inherited. Okay, so this guy got the totem through an inheritance. He didn't just yoink it. And they release the cockatrice. But Ogwater has recovered his magical gems from the Orc Selkie. Oh my gosh, wow. I am seeing when you said this was a really short thing. They traveled through these 3 kingdoms. Also, surprisingly, in those 3 kingdoms, he got his magical gems back from each one of them. And then Ogwater starts fighting with song magic. And in the end, Riola, his former lover... Okay. Wait. What? The local mob boss, Riola, is Ogwater's lover? It's just like I'm getting to the end of the tale and getting nothing else.
Yep.
There's no substance, no meat. I'm just getting a piece of bread. I'm eating a British sandwich, which I'm pretty sure is bread and bread.
British sandwich is bread and bread.
You're thinking I'm kidding, but I actually am not kidding. I think this is a thing. I need you to look it up.
I know, it's really funny. British food is like they're still war ration.
I
hilarious.
watched a video yesterday, and it was like British people. They're like, "Why is there no like seasoning on our food?" And it was like, it tastes like this was made 200 years ago. Like they give you salt and pepper at the table if you go to a restaurant, but that's it. There's like nothing else, and it's like that. Yeah. It's depressing. Every time I season chicken, it's like I'm Salt Bay up in here. I'm trying to really season that bad boy.
Yeah.
It's good.
So apparently Ogwater has magical gems. Ogwater's Thanos. He's collecting the soul stones, Infinity Gem. He's trying he's trying to give a quick snap.
Yeah.
And then end the circle with song magic. The song is I don't know, some song from Avengers. We'll get it. Yeah. So it says Terry McLaren wrote a sequel to the Song of Time.
I don't think I even finished the last sentence.
No, you did. In the end, Riola, his former lover, gives him the last of the artifacts, and he can defeat the cockatrice.
I think I just got to the former lover piece.
Well, apparently he defeats the cockatrice.
He does it. Yay! This weird hobo on the street, Ogwater, defeats the big, bad, evil thing.
To be honest, I'm pretty sure I could kill a chicken bird with my hands.
Chicken bird snake?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Snake, you just got to pick it up by like the back of the head so it can't bite you.
A chicken bird snake is essentially what a Canadian goose is.
That's really funny. That's really true. They are scary. I don't know. If they came out to you, you just
see the thing is they're protected. That's the thing. They're protected.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But geese aren't made in the image of God. And I could grab a goose by its neck and swing it around like a flail into things. Like
say it was self-defense.
You know what I mean? Like it's just
you had to protect yourself.
Yeah, they're geese are pretty aggressive for how grabbable and swingable their necks are like a flail. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying I endorse this. I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure I could. They're not that big. It's not like they're like 80-pound birds. They're just a small bird that's aggressive and tries to bite you.
Fun fact of the episode, boys. Nerd emoji here. Bong. That's where you would put a nerd emoji. Anyway, geese have teeth on their tongues.
Yeah. But again,
sound more excited. Whoa.
No.
Did you know?
No, I know that they're the danger cobras. But again, that's essentially what this cockatrice is, and those are just like chilling in the park.
Chicken don't even have teeth on their tongues. This thing's less scary than a goose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To be honest, you're kind of right.
Yeah.
You're kind of right. It does have technically it has the death touch because you get sentenced to jail if you kill the geese. Yeah.
Can you imagine being
by the
in jail?
way, really quickly, I don't know if they're protected. I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure they are. They've got the word Canadian in it. They've got to be.
You just made this up and I believed you 1,000%.
I'm pretty sure. Let me interrupt our riveting episode to see if I was going to type, can you kill geese? That's what starts out. That's not the right thing.
Google's like
Canadian geese.
I guess. I don't know.
Protected. Let me see.
Google with its Reddit answers like you should kill geese.
Yeah, Canadian geese are protected by the Migratory Bird Convention Act. Act is based on an
What the
international
heck?
treaty between Canada and the States. It regulates the hunting, harvesting, commercialization, and trafficking of migratory birds, their eggs and nests. So again, you can't.
So you can't kill it in States or in Canada?
Yeah,
I was going to say.
You cannot use them as a flail anywhere.
United States brothers, kill them for us, but now we found out you can't. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I said, can you imagine going to jail? And then you started talking again, but that wasn't the end of my sentence because can you freaking imagine going to jail?
Anyways.
I was going to say, can you imagine going to, yeah, that'd be crazy. And then just continue on. But can you imagine like going to jail and you're like, what are you in for to your cellmate? And they're like, oh, I like murdered someone. They're like,
Yeah.
what did you do? And you're like, I killed a goose. They laugh at you. They call you Goose Boy. Honk, honk,
I was
goose
going to say,
boy,
everyone
yeah.
in the cafeteria, honk, honk,
Yeah.
honk, honk.
Ah,
Stop bullying me.
yeah.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I wanna just say, I've found our goose talk more riveting than the storyline. It doesn't seem good. Yeah. It's again, we only get what we can get, but like we have our trusty multiverse and review, so we'll take away a little bit of it. It says the story starts during the Brothers' War, where the wizard Mistral leads an army of wizards against his wizard brother Urza's army. This does not fit with the current continuity at all, but more on that later.
Not more on that later. You covered it. You did it.
Yeah.
You went off.
For now, all you need to know is that Urza summoned a cockatrice but can't control it, which, again, wouldn't be a problem. Mishra calls his elite wizards of a group of song mages. They try to kill it, but there's a traitor and stops it, blah, 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 blah. We get it. The traitor in the circle called the Raptor comes in and kills him. Cut to post Ice Age, the last member of the circle, Javin. It seems the circle has become sort of mystery cult, and Javin shows no signs of actually being a song mage. And his adopted son, Cheyenne, are excavating a site, trying to find the body. Stumble on a corpse who
Why
couldn't
are they
pay
trying
his...
to find his body?
I don't know.
Like, what's the point? Oh, that's not very nice. Maybe they're like, we want to put him at rest, but
Yeah.
like...
They stumble on a corpse of a guy who couldn't pay his debts with the local mobsters, who just happens to hold a totem and symbols on it similar to the Cheyenne one. Cheyenne goes and finds out about the true birth parents. By the way, never said who those were.
Yeah, there's like found body with thing. Maybe it was his parents, his actual parents.
No, that's what I mean. They didn't say who the actual parents are.
Oh, yeah.
He befriends a hobo, Ogwater, who just happens to be a down on his luck song mage and just happens to be in love with the local lady mob boss Riola. Ogwater agrees to guide Cheyenne to the chimes where the local elves might be able to translate. They just happen to be the descendant of... Oh, yeah, okay, so where it just happens to be... The girl sent the map clearer just happens to be the niece of the guy whose corpse Cheyenne and Javin found, and just happens to be his descendant of the collector, unbeknownst to the characters, and just happens to be the ex of the local ruler, who put her aside to marry Riola. You're probably already getting my problem with the book. Anyways, Riola has Clario's shop burned down.
What a coinky dink.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just even says, even in the roof, it says all of that covers the first half of the book. Second half covers the journey of Sumifa to the chimes and the adventures they have. They go through an Orc kingdom, a few kingdoms. All the while they're followed by Riola, who's the raptor, who's somehow still alive.
Who's working for the raptor? No.
Yeah, who's working for the raptor, who's somehow alive after a few millennia and who wants to control it.
It did happen a long time ago.
Yeah.
Why were they looking for the collector's body then?
I don't know.
It's not like they knew him. Like, it's not like they were like, we need to put him to rest because like we're bros. What the heck?
Yeah. But Ogwater recovers his own magical gems from the Orc and the Ice Kingdoms and start fighting. In the end, Riola gives him the last artifacts he'd given it to her years ago when he'd fallen in love with her, and he defeats the cockatrice at the last moment. Everyone goes their merry way, and Cheyenne finds.
Can you imagine having to
vows to find the truth about the raptor and defeat the evil wizard, except the rest of the trilogy never got made.
Oh,
so
that's funny. Okay, can you imagine? It said like he got the rest of his like items back from Riola after they like broke up years ago. Can you imagine just having to go back and be like, so could I have that necklace back? I know I gave it to you, and like I haven't asked for it for like 3 years, but now is the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The right now their review says that it's kind of like Cursed Land, that it doesn't have the same bad plot points and nothing going places, but like the character writing is still just very bland and not memorable, which is probably why none of these characters have ever been made into any card on Magic. Like, there's
pronounce the guy's name.
Not even a reference, right?
Yeah.
Says good guys do little more than trading backstories and stumbling from one escape into another. No space left for actual characterizations. Bad guys get a little characterization, but their traits are boiled down to evil and unpleasant. The big bad raptor's just insane. Like in this year was no reason.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah, you take some away.
The main baddie, Riola, is power mad and unlikable, mistreating not only her slaves, but even her main assassin henchman. She's petty, cruel, unlikable in every way, and has no redeeming qualities. Those all sound like great qualities. Wow, what a woman. That's like the one guy's still in love with her. Anyway, not only does she not make for a very interesting character, hey, there you go. It also raises the question on how on earth is Ogwater in love with her. And of course, every single bad guy plans to stab each other bad guy in the back, even when it would make more sense for them to work together. More sense? It makes so much sense. Personally, I find the villains more interesting if you can see their point, or at the very least, if they have some charisma. But here, being a villain just means you have to be vile in every way possible.
I do personally like that in a book where like you don't agree with the reasoning of the villain, but you can understand why they would do it, right? Like it's got a human emotion to it that like you may not be like a greedy person who wants to ascend to power, but you can understand why a person would, right?
Yeah, you can see like their thought process. Like there's a point to their madness.
Well, and again, like you might not be like bound by hatred and like driven to revenge, but like you could understand how a person could get there rather than just cuz.
I guess because you mentioned Thanos, like it's like that, right? It's like, oh, I don't agree with him just like killing half the population, but you're like, oh, but I can understand why he would think he should do that.
Yeah, where Thanos believes, again, Thanos is just like essentially like the highest tier of like an eco-terrorist of like we're like doing irreparable damage. We've got to wipe out half, and indiscriminately did it. Thanos could have died in Thanos' snap in his own thing. Yeah, he just risked half the life 50-50. Roll the dice.
Let's go. He's really playing Russian roulette with that one.
Yeah, right. So anyways, they go on, they say it's the pinnacle of blandness is Claria. I couldn't describe her character. She became a whatever to the plot.
That's really funny.
She's introduced as a mysterious veiled lover of the local king. Then suddenly turns out to be lower class map seller that they happen to just need. Then reveals she knows kung fu because we need another fighting action scene. In the end, she's kind of captured for screenplay of Damsel in Distress. Yeah.
How's she in Damsel in Distress if she knows kung fu? Like, no offense, if I was able to fight, I'm not going to be like, oh, please help me with my kung fu skills.
Yeah.
And also, she's like a descendant of the Collector, and also she's a lover of this king, and also she's like she's too many things.
Well, and then again the same thing. There's only 2 magic cards like mentioned in the book, despite having like 2 of the most prolific magic characters as like their like quote unquote like reference points, right? Like it's in the middle of the Brothers' War, and again I understand that the Brothers' War wasn't written at this time, so you can't like really.
She's doing her best, but she also is not using any of the information given to her about any of the other things. She's like, oh, 2 brothers fight.
Terry might be a guy. Terry could be a guy's name. Our realtor was named Terry this weekend.
They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Terry did not know what Terry doing.
Yeah. So the biggest problem they have is kind of the same that I have. It's that everything just kind of rolls together, and it's just like, oh, this happens to be like, oh, the last artifact just happens to be with the mob boss
it's just
who
too
was
lucky. I hate that.
Yeah, my old lover, and then it's just like, oh well, you know.
Yeah, it's like I know we've literally talked about this before, but like if you set up something in the first scene, it has to like happen in the second scene. And I understand they're finding things along the way, but it's like, oh, we find everything we need. Like if I have a lighter in my pocket in the third scene, and it helps me blow up a building. It's like, oh, where did that get there? Like, it's like you need to be like smoking a cigarette or something in the first scene to be like, oh, look, they have a cigarette, like a lighter already in their pocket. But it's just everything that is so convenient for this. And yeah, it sounds like this book was fast because the book was probably fast because everything just worked out.
Again, like I know they maybe had like an idea for a trilogy, and maybe it was like flushed out to do that.
Magic was like, no, but put the pen down.
But again, like exactly, like it's just like read some of these coincidences. Like all the people Shane meets are linked to each other. The dead guy is the uncle of Clara, who's the ex of the king, who's now marrying Riola, who's the ex of Ogwater. Yeah. Even worse, the very like all the MacGuffins, like we were just saying. Happens to stumble upon the music box of the Collector called the Chronoclave, which she inherits from the uncle's shop. Then when Riola burns her shop down, she just happens to take it along out of all the things in the shop. Then hides it in an oasis when they're captured by orcs. Riola's group, who are also on the way to the Chimes, stop into the same oasis. And Riola's main assassin happens to just find it and then lose it in a maelstrom at sea, only for it to wash up on the beach for Javin. And then the thingamabob is instrumental in defeating the cockatrice. Sorry. My voice is even not liking the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Just what the heck with this one item? Yeah, so that's needed. It's instrumental in defeating
the same thing. Oh, they found all this like old song guy's gems that he apparently needs for it.
What is Clara or whatever, Claria? Why does she know everyone?
Yeah. Fact that everyone knows everyone, that every item is dropped invariably ends up in the main character's hand. You know?
Yeah. I put this in hiding when we got taken by orcs, and then they found it, but then they lost it in the sea, but then it also came to me from the sea, and it was fine. It's like, what are you talking? What? Og water? It doesn't say og water. I think that's OG water.
No, it's
He was able to bring it to them.
Yeah, but again, it's I don't know why. It says one last thing. For some reason, this book is available as an ebook. No idea why. Of all of the Harbor Prism books, it's the only one. This in Arena, but I don't want to read this book and have and you have the possibility to buy a paper version. Do so. The ebook's absolutely dreadful. There's many mistakes. They clearly just clicked scan to Word file, then put up on the store without having a single editor look it over.
What?
Not a line break, making conversations ramble, occasionally leaving me confused. I could not notice there's been a scene change. Quotation marks end up as everything from exclamation points to trademark signs. I'll get rendered as 1*11 at one point. The name Javin gets turned into everything from Lavin to Avin to Arvin to Alvin.
You say Avin, but it's like a closed bracket before that too. So it's just, it's a fancy J. Wow.
Yeah.
It took me about half the novel to realize these orators they mentioned are not ever so often are not some form of bandits, but they are orc raiders.
That's really funny.
Really funny, yeah.
Yeah. So it says there's two quick
We
mentions
love
of the Phalesian territories to the west. The Phalagi played a big role in the story of antiquities, but I think that's the only reference to them, or at least their name being around 6488. The book also holds the first reference I found for the Glimmer Moon, aka the Glitter Moon, aka the Null Moon, aka the Little Moon, and it just appeared one day.
What? That's so frustrating.
There was already a reference to the moon being artificial in the Ice Age comics, though, which was released before this.
Moon fake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So then it talks a little bit about the continuity. Take us away, please.
Urza and Mishra as wizards who command wizards. Previous continuity issues in the Harbor Prism story I could explain away one way or another, but this is beyond problematic. It's a major plot point in the Brothers' War novel and the continuity or entire Ice Age cycle that magic is around during the time of the Brothers, so I could only see one solution: strike the prologue from continuity, or at least have it be a mythical representation of what really happened rather than a 100% factual account. Okay. This has the unexpected advantage of making the writing less hacky as well. Minutes after the cockatrice has been imprisoned, Mishra comes up with the idea of shaping its prison into an Armageddon clock, and immediately everyone is talking about the Beast of Hours and the Great Awakening. This chicken thing, I can't believe they're just like, the Beast of Hours, he will awaken, and it's like this stupid chicken. What a threat. Yeah. Put a goose in there? Very scary. I was trying to think of a joke, but it's not going to come to me. It sounded completely hokey and stilted, but it's also a myth rather than what's actually going on. I can forgive it. I don't like removing stuff from canon, but in this case, it's simply no other way.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's just so far out of what's been there. So it says, those who have been keeping up with their timeline project will know the usual way of counting years in Magic is Argive Reckoning, a system that has year zero as the birth of Urza and Mishra. Again, they're very integral to the story.
Yeah, they're the big boys.
Yeah, Song of Time has a totally different system, the much duller sounding Common Era system. Prologue sets the Brothers' War as heading around 3000 BCE, which is the Common Era there. Makes sense, really, as this would put the Common Era reckoning shortly after the end of the Ice Age, which seems a very appropriate time to start a new calendar. After I saw the prologue happen around 3000, I had hoped that it would be a definitive date for the main events of the novel, but unfortunately the time frame is only called present day. So while reading the book, I was expecting to have to put Song of Time in the category I had put in previous books at minus 4,000. But then the final parts of the book, it stated that the newly awakened cockatrice had been in prison 3,000 years.
At the end of the book, too, is that doesn't... It just that would be so annoying to be like, oh, this actually happened 3,000 years in the future? Great.
Yeah. But again, that's this story. There's not much to it. From what I've been able to see so far, I don't really like Terry McLaren's storytelling.
Terry.
Yeah. It just...
I think Terry was just trying to make their own series and putting some magic into it.
Again, right? If there was some of that, and they probably had a lot of rushed timelines because of Wizards.
Yeah.
Which is, again, fair. Because these books got rolled out really, really fast. A lot of these were 1996 books. Like, so multiple books in the same year, you kind of get what you get.
Yeah.
But like just these early books just had not much story to go on, not much like to build, because again, they didn't have the flushed out thing. So a big portion of the book had to be world building, right? You can only you can only world build so much and have it be compelling.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like classical books like Harry Potter, for instance, right? It sets its world building out in like its
You
first.
said classical and it like broke my brain. That's like calling a, oh, look at this old camera. It's vintage. It's
No,
2002.
but Harry Potter's like
No,
very
I know.
popular, like
Yeah, yeah,
fantasy, right?
Yeah.
And like again, like it world builds in its very beginning and stuff like that. It sets off like some main events and establishes a timeline that like
Yeah.
Harry Potter happened at like the Harry Potter living, the boy who lived thing.
Yeah, yeah.
What was like an integral event to the story, and like so it world builds and then it goes on there and it's in
Expands.
those it's in those set of rules and it can like grow those things out, right? Whereas here you've got to like make the new kingdom up, right? It's not set in like a current day, so you can't be like, this is in London on a train platform and there's a magical world through like a platform at blah 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 and 3/4.
Yeah, 9 3/4.
Nice, that's me. Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Just your face. Your face says
Just a little sigh.
Just yeah. But yeah, so
they.
the like I said, the whole point of it is that like they can world build and continue on, right? When you're only
It's
given
a series.
when you're only given a book to try set up, and again, like I assume at this point Brothers War mentioning cards had been out, right? So they probably had like some references of a Brothers War with like this Mishra and Urza as the main story, right? So, because at this point, these guys weren't the story writers for Magic. They were writing stories based on the cards that were being released, whereas now they write a story and make cards that fit into that story and those legends.
It also sounds like, to be in defense of Terry for 1 second, it sounded like Terry it was going to be a trilogy or whatever, or a sequel. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they didn't get to finish it. So maybe the second one would have been better. I don't feel like it might have, just based on our last 2 Terry books. But again, you're trying to make a short book. It's supposed to kind of be for kids, right? Like you're trying to just, you're trying to really get it done. And I just think if you don't have as many cards to work with, you don't really know what their plan is. So you're just trying to also make up your own mythical world with also including this other mythical world in it. So,
yeah. Like it just, like I said, you can only really do so much at that point, sadly.
Yeah.
So it's we'll see kind of like how the rest of the story goes. I think this is kind of the point where things start to pick up. Now, like the story becomes like a little bit of because for the Harper Prism ones we just did Song of Time, so then there's Peace Shall Sleep, Dark Legacy, Tapestries is like a separate book.
Let's go. I love Tapestries.
Distant Plains, and then the Harper Prism wrap up.
Don't know how much Tapestries has to do with magic, but whoever did that was cooking.
No, Tapestries had everything to do with magic. It was all the good stories. The Brass
right.
Man.
Well, yeah. Okay, sorry. I thought the Brass Man wasn't a card. No, he was.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, if you look, I'll do a quick pop-up over
When
on
do we
screen
get the
here.
Cowboy book?
Oh,
when do we get the Cowboy book? Is it
that'll-
actually a book? I was kidding.
Oh, for sure, yes.
It's a book?
Well, it'll be a story part, yeah. Like Magic has a story.
Oh, okay.
So again,
I was
there's like
kidding.
a
I
ton,
was
a
being
ton of
facetious.
stories. Like, are you seeing?
That's too many stories.
But again, these are all in blocks. You see what I mean?
That's too many stories.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at
yeah.
like the Time Spiral and like Planar Chaos. Like, it all makes sense that way, as
Yeah.
opposed to just like being these like jump around
Yeah.
stories, right?
This one's
So-
about Garth, and this one's about Greensleeves, and then this one's about people you'll never hear about again, and then this one is about people you'll never hear about again, and then this one is about people.
Well, and again, like if you look at the next one, right? Like this is another one prior to Brothers War, but like you can see, like, look, there's like actually a plot in this one.
Whoa! It's got more than 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Whoa! Are we? Oh, we're gonna be eating good next time.
Yeah, might even
Yum,
have
yum, yum, yum.
might even have to not rant for 10 minutes about geese.
Might have to not rant for 10 minutes about the actual Brothers War, and then might not have to rant 10 minutes about geese, and then not rant about cowboys, and then I keep going on.
Yeah, you get it.
I might not even get to give a fun fact. Never.
You could never. Yeah,
Scoff at you.
like I said, it just didn't seem like the best of stories. And
Can I also
again,
say this card's scaring the crap out of me?
Which
I
one?
don't like this card. Ow. I don't like it. I don't like the look of it. It upsets me. I don't know if it's a real card. There's a band-aid on it. I just don't like it.
no.
Looks like he got poopy on his head.
Yeah, it looks like you're burying him.
Oh.
Or actually, it looks like those are boulders being thrown by this catapult over on the side.
Oh, interesting. I don't like it. I thought it looks like an orc. It's frightening.
Whenever any creature damages a player for each ow card in play, that player says ow once or it deals 1 damage to them.
Okay, never mind. I like it. I don't like the picture. I like the card.
That's
I hit you. How?
you'd probably enjoy the there's like they make silly sets every now and then.
I like a good silly set.
And,
I'm a little silly guy.
It's eluding me of what they're called right now because I'm tired. The something. It's not Jumpstart. Right. It's like Jumpstart is the plain ones. The illegal cards are from. Let me see here. It'll come to me.
Here I go. I'm gonna vamp.
No, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. It is from the Unfinity cards. The unsets.
Those little guys.
So they're not like real cards. Like some of them are kind of legal, but most of them are illegal.
Are they like proxies or are they just like their own made up cards?
So they're like a set specifically. They're not meant to be legal, but they're meant to be like played as like a silly.
Oh, okay. So like they're like a fun card. That's just like they're not legal though. And if you played a game.
Yeah. So like the unset cards, like
okay.
I'll show you some of the cards from it. Like some of them are like pretty silly. Like they'll.
Oh, look at that one. It had like the guy was writing on the card.
Where?
Frazzled editor. No, to your right, down.
Yeah.
That's so silly.
Protection from wordy something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like correcting all of it like a teacher.
Yeah, right. And like a lot of them are like this. Like whenever you play a spell, you may gain half a life for each word in that spell's name.
Oh, that's silly.
Yeah. Right. And then
they're just weird. They're just to like kind of like up your game if you're not really caring about what's going on.
Yeah. So like there's like one that's called like Infernal Spawn of Evil. And then this is the Infernal Spawn of Evil.
That's really funny.
And it says Beast Child Demon, and it's the best dad. Flying First Strike Trample. If you say I'm coming to, because the Infernal Demon, you have to keep saying
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Reveal it from your hand. Say it's coming. It deals 1 damage to target opponent. Use this ability only during your upkeep and only once each upkeep.
Wow.
Yeah. So then you do
Holy
that.
crap! Like 9 mana for that thing.
Yeah. And then
that's fun.
Yeah. Right. Like so they're like fun.
So it's just like something to kind of change the game around a bit.
It's like
a little silly.
Yeah. It's a fun little silly set, and then they don't have to like worry about like this is one of the ones from the recent ones.
Whenever you put an ability sticker on a creature, put a 1/1 counter on that creature. You get, what is that?
You get an attraction ticket, yeah.
Oh, okay, you put a sticker on an online permanent you own.
Yeah, so the newest set had like stickers. This is like, this one lets you like roll dice randomly.
That's cool.
Yeah, like like Alexander Clamington.
What the heck?
Oh,
That's okay. He's got a Nerf
Alexander Clamilton, sorry.
Yeah, get it right.
Yeah, so like, again, they're all just like silly.
That's silly. That's very fun.
Yeah, my first tome is a card, like a uncard. Pay 1, tap it, say the flavor text on a card in your hand. Target opponent guesses that card's name. You may reveal it. If you do and your opponent guesses wrong, draw a card.
The card, and then the flavor text says, this card is named my first tome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like
that is fun.
Yeah, so like I said, they do some fun things with that, but
that's fun.
That's
silly.
Yeah, back to the book here. Like it had nothing to do with magic.
No!
It had nothing to do with magic minus mentioning Urza and Mishra.
And then, the Collector and the Raptor, because they are canon. And also the Circle. They're all canon.
I just want to see where Urza and Mishra are first mentioned. Because, let me quickly show you. You think there's a blurb? This is about these characters. Hang on here. Just look at this. That's about one of them. This is about the other.
It's about the size of... Oh my gosh. Oh, Urza. Oh, Urza, did you kill your brother? There's so much on Urza, and there's not as much on Mishra.
Well, it sounds like you've got a good idea, but again...
I can see patterns.
Yeah.
I have tism.
Where is the... that's funny. Where is the, like, first times they're mentioned? I don't even think... They're probably mentioned to associated cards. Yeah, Mishra's Judgment. Like, they're... on a bunch.
Could you like look up when's the first time they were mentioned?
No, like you can see like even in the I'll go back to the pop-up, like you can see that they're just like on a ton of cards.
Oh, I see
like,
they're on a ton of cards. I was just wondering.
like this is like by the time Mishra was defeated, no mage was foolish enough to rely heavily on walls.
Oh, sheesh.
Like a lot of it
Did you
is-
just spoil it for me that Mishra did die? Ah!
spoiler alert, Urza wins the Brothers' War.
I also kind of already said with the one blurb being longer than the other. Whoopsies, but
Yeah, but well, no, but again, like that's a well-known thing, right? Like that's not.
yeah, I knew that actually.
Yeah.
I did know.
But again, they're constantly referenced and constantly like Mishra actually has like multiple cards of things.
Yeah.
And then the same with Urza. Like Urza's like also he'll be in and on a bunch of cards. Like look at like how
Oh
many
my
represented
gosh.
on.
All I think about is, did I make you like I photoshopped your face on an Urza card?
Yeah, on the Urza Prince of Krug, which is hilarious.
And then I called it Durza so I could find the file again in case I needed it.
That's really funny. D Urza.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of this one. There's pretty much nothing else to this book. It's kind of what it is.
It's kind of what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, there's
I can't change the book.
Yeah.
It came out in 1996.
I didn't write it. Yeah.
I was like 4 months when it came out.
I was going to say you came out in 1996.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Out of the womb.
Why'd you say that? It was so weird.
Because you said I came out in 1996.
Oh, you're
Am
not,
I gay or was I born?
It's Pride Month. We never know.
Yeah.
You're a fabulous baby.
I was a fabulous baby. I came out actually very upset. My mom told me I was not happy. I
That-
apparently glared at her.
Fair.
I like to be warm. I like to be under blankets.
Okay, you're ranting too much about your birth, your supposed birth.
I was a tumor baby.
You were hatched. Anyways,
I was not hatched.
You were hatched.
I was cut open.
like I said, we have to. Yes, Kailyn was C-section. That's
tumor-
great.
tumor
Too
baby.
much personal details. That's the wrong kind of
I
lore.
was born on the.
No, anyways, okay. Thank you guys for getting through this nonsensical episode. Sorry about all of it. Just sheesh. If you like what we're doing, like, share, subscribe. It really does help us out.
Yeah.
We'll get back to a consistent schedule, and yeah, I guess we will see you for the next one. That's it.
And it is a longer story, so
Yeah, that's it.
get ready.
I'm ending it there. That's
Yeah.
it. Any more personal stories you want to share quickly? Let me go back to you.
My social security.